Welcome back to Damn Parenting. I'm your host, Eva, and I'm glad you're joining me today. This episode is about raising awareness about the kind of issues that don't always make headlines, but deeply affect our community. Just like the recent petition to recognise that grief isn't limited to pregnancies beyond 24 weeks in a national policy, we believe it's important to highlight the experiences and needs that often go unheard. And this is one of those episodes. We're bringing you a conversation that not only informs, but invites you to be part of shaping the country we now call home. We're diving into a powerful and much-needed conversation about mental health during pregnancy, especially for women who've moved here from other parts of the world. Did you know that 1 in 4 migrant women experiences symptoms of depression, and 1 in 5 struggles with anxiety during or after pregnancy? These numbers aren't just statistics. They reflect real, emotional, and social challenges faced by women far from home, often navigating new systems, languages, and cultures while preparing to bring life into the world. We're speaking with Caterina Ceccarelli, a PhD student and a member of the team behind MiMoment, a research project led by the WHO Collaboration Centre and the Department of Clinical Psychology of Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam. MiMoment is all about understanding the mental health and well-being of pregnant women who've come to the Netherlands from low and middle-income countries. The goal is to create better support systems and more culturally aware healthcare that truly reflect the lived experiences of mums in our diverse communities. So, whether you're expecting, supporting someone who is, or simply interested in how we can build a more inclusive and empathetic approach to care, this episode is for you. So let's get into this. Hi, Caterina.
Hi, Eva.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very specific research that you're actually partaking in right now. So can you actually give us a little background? What inspired the creation of the MiMoment Project, and why is it focused specifically on migrant women during pregnancy in the Netherlands?
The perinatal period, so the period that encompasses pregnancy and the year after pregnancy, can be, is a beautiful moment, but can also be a very challenging moment for all women. But what we have seen through research across different countries in Europe and beyond is that for women who are living away from their country of origin, from home, the challenges that can happen during this period are sometimes stronger. So what do I mean with this? I mean that oftentimes they encounter more issues when it comes to social support, so not having maybe family close to them, but also issues when it comes to accessing adequate mental health care when the need is there. And what we found was that these challenges are likely to also happen in the Netherlands, but unfortunately we do not have still a lot of research on this topic here.
So what are some of the unique mental health challenges that pregnant women from the low and middle income countries face after moving to the Netherlands?
Yeah, as I mentioned, there are what we call risk and protective factors for mental health and mental well-being. And what we see is that compared to native women, oftentimes people with a migrant background face more risk factors and less protective factors in relation to mental health. These include poorer social support, a higher amount of what we often call daily stressors, which relate to economic challenges, but also challenges in dealing with a system from a country that is different, also language barriers, and sometimes, unfortunately, of course, also discrimination. So we see challenges that affect the individual experience, but oftentimes are very much systemic.
Can I ask you also, why is it specifically focused for the low and middle income and not all countries in general?
Yeah, what we see from previous research is that these risk factors are even more present for women who migrate from low and middle income countries. And this reflects also in a higher rate of mental health conditions among this subpopulation of migrants. And we see this from research from all over the world. But up until now, we don't really have evidence on whether this is also the case in the Netherlands, even though we imagine that could be.
So how does the MiMoment aim to make a practical impact on mental health care for migrant mums to be, and how can our listeners get involved or spread the word?
So now we're in the initial stages of our study. So we are hoping to spread the word about our project in order to include women from diverse backgrounds with different experiences and be able to hear their stories. Our study involves very much a quantitative component to it, but also a qualitative component in which we're going to have interviews with women in the perinatal period to really take the time to take in their experiences. In terms of the next steps, once we are able to collect this data, we are hoping that this will, first of all, lead us to produce high quality evidence, and this will have also policy impacts in turn. As we are working as part of the WHO Collaborating Center, we hope that this evidence that we collect will also inform policy documentation from the WHO in the upcoming future to be able to inform decisions in the Netherlands, but also in other high-income countries in which we see similar structural barriers for mental health care.
You just said there you've just started it. So it started in the month of May then, 2025?
We started data collection this month, of May 2025. But yeah, we have been working on making this happen for the past year.
Thank you. So we're going to be sharing the links so people can participate or find out more information. We'll also be sharing some of the resources that you actually shared with us on other documentation and research that has been conducted. As I said, these episodes are about raising awareness about topics that we don't usually get to find out about. And especially people in research are out there conducting a lot of research. They also need our help and our input in any way that we can actually do. Some of this is not going to be relevant to some of us, but some of this might be relevant to some others who will be able to actually share and make an impact. Katarina, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for sharing this with us. Also, best of luck on this research. I hope you'll be able to follow up next year with all your data and you'll be able to give us a bit of input in what your findings were. So thank you for that and best of luck.
Thank you for having us.